Britney Spears has now responded after photographs showed her standing through the sunroof of a moving SUV on one of Los Angeles' busiest freeways. The images captured only a brief moment, but they quickly produced concern, criticism, and another wave of public speculation around the singer. Spears' message was clear. What people saw in those photographs was not the complete picture. But what exactly happened on the freeway? What did she say afterward? And which details remain unconfirmed? For verified entertainment updates, without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. The latest confirmed update came through Spears' Instagram account on Saturday, July 11th. Sharing an image from the incident, she described what the public had seen as only a couple of seconds from the much longer reality of her day. She then wrote that appearances could be misleading and ended with a sarcastic suggestion that she might come through the roof more often. Her wording combined frustration with humor. She did not deny that the incident happened, and she did not present a detailed explanation of why she stood through the sunroof. Instead, she challenged the idea that a handful of photographs could explain her condition, intentions, or entire day. People in Entertainment Weekly both reported the substance of that response after it appeared on her verified Instagram page. The photographs were reportedly taken on Wednesday, July 8th, on the 101 freeway near the Studio City area of Los Angeles. Spears was riding as a passenger in a black Mercedes SUV, driven by a man whose identity was not publicly established in the reports reviewed for this video. Images showed her upper body through the vehicle's sunroof, with her arms extended as traffic moved around the SUV. Reports based on witness accounts said the moment lasted approximately 2 minutes before the vehicle left the freeway and later stopped at a gas station. Some coverage estimated that traffic was moving at roughly 45 miles per hour, but that speed was attributed to witnesses and media reporting, not to a publicly released police measurement or official traffic record. That distinction matters because several parts of the story come from photographs, unnamed witnesses, and an unidentified source, rather than an official incident report. One source quoted in the original coverage claimed that Spears initially came through the roof because she wanted to see what was causing traffic to stop ahead. The same source said she had done similar things during her childhood and did not intend to cause harm. Spears herself did not include that explanation in the Instagram statement reviewed by the outlets, so it should be treated as a source's account, not as a directly confirmed explanation from the singer. No official statement from the California Highway Patrol concerning the sunroof episode was identified in the reporting reviewed for this package. There was also no confirmed report that Spears was driving the SUV. The available coverage consistently described her as the passenger while another person drove. That is an important factual boundary. The images may reasonably raise questions about physical safety, but they do not support claims that Spears was operating the vehicle, impaired during the ride, or experiencing a particular medical or psychological condition. None of those conclusions has been established publicly, and this is where the story becomes larger than the photographs themselves. Britney Spears has spent much of her adult life under unusually intense observation. A social media post, a restaurant appearance, or a brief public interaction can rapidly become the basis for theories about her private life. In this case, Spears appeared to push back against that pattern by arguing that a photographed instant should not be treated as a complete account of reality. Her response did not erase the safety questions created by the photographs. Standing through a vehicle's sunroof while it is moving can present an obvious risk, regardless of who is involved, but acknowledging that risk is different from making an unsupported diagnosis or inventing an explanation for Spears' behavior. The timing also contributed to the attention. The freeway images appeared several months after Spears was arrested in Ventura County on March 4th on suspicion of driving under the influence. According to the California Highway Patrol's account reported by the Associated Press, Spears had been driving during that earlier incident and was the only person in her vehicle. Officers said she appeared impaired after they responded to a report of erratic driving. She was arrested and released the following morning. In May, Spears resolved that case by pleading guilty through her attorney to a reduced reckless driving offense commonly called a wet reckless. The court imposed 1 year of summary probation, credited her with 1 day already served, required a DUI education program, and imposed state-mandated financial penalties. The Ventura County District Attorney's Office said The plea reflected factors including no crash, no injuries, no prior DUI history, and a relatively low blood alcohol level. That legal case is relevant background because it helps explain why another vehicle-related image attracted immediate scrutiny. But the two events should not be merged into a single allegation. During the March event, authorities said Spears was driving. During the July Sunroof episode, the reports described her as a passenger. The May plea resolved the earlier criminal case. It does not establish impairment or criminal wrongdoing during the July ride. Spears' representative did not provide people with an additional comment about the Sunroof photographs before the article was published. That leaves her Instagram caption as her only confirmed direct public response, identified in the current reporting. There has also been no publicly confirmed announcement that the July incident produced a citation, arrest, or new criminal case. Unless an agency releases further information, it would be inaccurate to describe the photographs as evidence of a new charge. The broader public reaction has included expressions of concern, criticism of the apparent safety risk, and debate about how Spears is covered. But phrases such as "fans fear" or "everyone is worried" can create a false impression of a single, measurable public response. Social media contains many reactions, and no representative survey establishes one universal opinion. What can be established is that the photographs circulated widely enough for Spears to respond personally. Her central argument was not that the images were fabricated. It was that they represented seconds rather than the full hours of her reality. That is a subtle but important difference. Spears accepted that the photographed moment looked unusual while disputing the larger narrative being constructed from it. This echoes themes she has raised before. She has repeatedly objected to public commentary about her private behavior, particularly when brief footage is used to make broad assumptions. In May, after renewed reporting about her personal life, Spears posted about the emotional effect of continued public discussion and asked for greater empathy. That history does not tell viewers how to interpret the latest photographs. It does, however, clarify why Spears' response focused less on the mechanics of the car ride and more on the gap between a public image and a private reality. The Startline takeaway is that two things can be true at once. The Freeway photographs showed a moment that carried a visible safety risk and understandably drew attention. Spears also has a legitimate point that a few seconds captured by photographers cannot prove everything being suggested about her life, intentions, or health. Responsible coverage should not ignore what the images show. It should also stop before turning those images into a diagnosis. What changed with Spears' July 11th post was that the public finally heard directly from her. She acknowledged the moment, described it as a tiny fragment of a much longer day, and rejected the idea that the photographs revealed the entire truth. What remains unclear is why she stayed through the sunroof for the reported length of time, whether she agreed with the unnamed source's traffic explanation, and whether any agency reviewed the incident. No official confirmation has established those details. As of the latest available reporting on July 12th, the clearest status is straightforward. Spears was photographed as a passenger standing through an SUV sunroof on the 101 freeway. She later responded through Instagram, and no new charge or official enforcement action connected to the episode has been publicly confirmed. The photographs created the headline. Spears' response created the real question behind it. How much can anyone honestly claim to know from only a few seconds of someone else's life?